Braylon and Hannah here, and on this week's episode of How To, we're going to teach you guys how to master that perfect badminton spike, more commonly known as the smash.
Badminton is a really fun sport, but you need to know the basics before you can master its advanced skill.
So keep on watching.
And here's Mr. Paul Lystra, Guido's famous badminton coach who brings the team to OFSA every year. Mr. Lystra, do you have any tips for the perfect badminton spike?
Badminton spike a lot like throwing a ball. Most of your power comes from moving your body, not just your arm. So you got to get your entire body into it. So it's good to start, if you're right-handed, you start tracking the birdie with your left hand. That allows you to track the birdie well, and also it forces you into a good follow-through. As this hand comes down, your other hand comes back, and a big follow-through, so you can get a lot of power behind your spike.
So now we're going to talk about the 5 phases of a badminton spike. So the first phase is the preliminary phase. So this is when you're perpendicular to the net already, your knees are going to be slightly bent and ready for the birdie to come to you, and your arm is going to be back.
Alright, so the second phase is called the loading phase. So you're going to bring all your weight back onto your right foot. So bring that back, and that will have a lot of force ready to happen, and just put your left arm in the air at the 45-degree angle and just wait for the birdie to come to you.
Okay, the next phase is the force producing. So this is when the birdie has come to you and your arm is going to be back, and you're going to follow through with your arm up until the point till you hit the shuttlecock. And for beginners, you can just keep your feet planted, but otherwise for more advanced players, you can actually jump as you come through.
So the critical instant is the next phase, and that's just before you hit the shuttlecock. You're going to do a little wrist flick, which will ensure that you hit the shuttlecock at great speed and that it goes flying over the net so that your opponent can't hit it back to you.
Okay, and the last phase is the follow-through phase, and this is when you actually hit the birdie and you come down and through it, so you ensure you have enough strength in order to get it over the net and down.
And those are the 5 phases of sport.
So grab your racket
And get ready for a fun
and informative time. So you've just seen the video on the rookie badminton smash. So as you can see, his knees were straight and not bent, so that's not good for like maximum movement for when you do your badminton smash. Also, his arm is by his side and not up, so when he follows through, he wasn't able to like follow the birdie. Also, he was not perpendicular to the net, which you're supposed to be, and he didn't move his torso or his body at all when he was moving, so it was literally just like no movement.
To do the perfect badminton spike, you need to do several important things. Alright, so the net here divides the court. First things first, you want to be in your ready position. So knees are bent and you're waiting for the birdie. Alright, your back foot, which is with your leading dominant racket hand, should be perpendicular to the net, while your left foot should be slightly forward. Alright, you're bending, you're waiting, and you see the perfect volley come over the net, and it's coming up. And you want to hit this. So you're going to lean back, put your left hand in the air, and point to the birdie. You see it coming. It's dropping. It's dropping. And if you're to miss the birdie, it should fall right behind your neck over here, okay? So you're going to lift your left arm and your right arm, rack it back, okay? And then it's coming. So you're going to tilt the weight onto your front foot and do a little wrist pop just before you hit the birdie. And you should be hitting the birdie at a 45-degree angle. That way the shuttlecock is going to go slamming down across the court. Follow through is extremely important in badminton. And you want to follow your racket all the way to your back to make sure you have full force in badminton. All right, Jessica, how about you demonstrate this for us?
Okay.
Watch the video on the expert doing the badminton smash. So as you can see in this video, Mr. Lystra did a fantastic job. Alright, so he had all his power in his back leg, and as the birdie was coming to him, he had his arm up in the air at a 45-degree angle watching for where it was coming. He moved his force onto his front leg as the birdie approached and produced a lot of force with his back arm, and his joints moved in order from largest to smallest to achieve maximum force, and then he hit the birdie at a 45-degree angle, and his wrist did a little flick just before he hit it. And to achieve maximum force, he did a follow through, which ensured a great serve.
Alright, and how can one become better at the badminton spike?
You gotta just practice. You do have to be fairly athletic, but it's one of the hardest things to do. It takes a lot.
Here's a brief overview of the principles of biomechanics that are evident in the badminton smash.
Principle 1 states that the larger the base support, the greater the mass, and the lower and close you are to the center mass, the more stability you'll have. This is true in badminton because you need to have your knees slightly bent and shoulder width apart in order to have more stability.
Principle 2 of biomechanics is maximum effort. This principle states that in order to have maximum force in your badminton smash, you need to use all possible joint movements in your body.
Principle 3 talks about maximum velocity. This states that in order to have maximum force, you need to work your joints in order from largest to smallest. So for badminton, you'd start with your hips when you're turning, then your shoulder when you move your arm, and then your elbow when you're bending, and then your wrist when you flick it down.
Principle 4 is linear motion. This states that the greater the applied impulse, the greater the velocity will be also. So in badminton, this means that when you're about to hit the smash, you want to hit the birdie at a 45-degree angle with your racket, and as you swing, you want to continue hitting it down. That way, the longer you hit the birdie for, the greater the velocity it will have.
Principle 5 states that movement usually occurs in the opposite direction of the applied force. So in badminton, when the birdie is coming towards you at this direction, once you hit it, it's going to go the opposite direction because of the movement in your arm.
Principle 6 is angular motion. Angular motion is produced by the application of force at some distance from an axis, that is by torque. So in badminton, this force is produced when you're spinning around to hit the birdie. So you're going to take the pressure off your back foot and place it on your front foot to get the full force, and that way you twist your longitudinal axis.
Principle 7 talks about angular motion. This states that angular momentum is constant when a player is high in the air. So when you do your badminton spike, if you jump up and come down, you're going to have a higher force because of the gravity.
To be good at badminton, you've got to let go of these sugary drinks. Health is most important in being good at a sport. So I'll just like,
I should have worn my goggles.
not again. I'm sorry, Hannah.
It's okay.
I'm always letting you down. Ow. Oh no, this is what happens when you don't wear goggles.
Principle 3 states that in order to have a maximum velocity.
Hi everybody. I feel like this is a YouTube video. I can't do.
Go. Okay, so you've just seen the video on the rookie badminton smash. So as you can see, his knees weren't bent at all, so he didn't have like the